in every, not every game, but
a fair frequently.
Yeah, it was banned out in
fair
the
frequent
second game of
appearance
the day.
bans, yes. But another thing that's been banned a lot so far is this Galio. It continues now as Virtus Pro removed not only that, but also the Ash. And it's still 2 top bans for Isurus Gaming. The Fizz and the Shen, both removed once again.
Yeah, and we talked about how Pride has a very large champion pool. Not opting to really utilize that too much in the last game. The Jace didn't have that much of an impact compared to what we maybe were expecting.
Yeah, now the Elise is banned away, so that targets at QQ more. But as we saw last time with the Ivern ban coming through, he's not afraid to just pick up something like the Nidalee, so we'll see what he goes for this time around. It was very quickly picked up in that last game, but Kha'Zix made it through.
This time available for Creox here. We had that banned away earlier on in the day, and now we get to see Creox on his most played jungler. 6 wins, 2 losses over in the LCL. I want to see what he can get done here.
And I want to see what Isurus Gaming can answer with right now. Let's QQ more got in his bag of tricks to take that on, but
gotta be Lee Sin, like or Graves, but Lee Sin tends to hold up better in the 1v1. Now Graves will out farm effectively, will be able to farm it very well. Good fast pushing potential. We just saw Isurus lose out to this. Maybe they'll look to adopt a few of those setups for themselves.
Yeah, and likewise, talking about the most played champion in the jungle, for Creox, QQmores has been that Graves, as he's rocking a 4-1 win rate on that champion, Virtus Pro. Toying with a few ideas here on the next rotation as the Karma had been picked up by Isurus.
We heard Mark earlier talking about wanting to see a Leona, wanting to see a non-ranged support just roam around and blow people up. Well, with a Nautilus in the first rotation, may very well be the case. Could be up in the top lane, could flex down to that support role. It's Hooks, Santos if he wants it.
Yeah, I mean, just another one a little bit safer of one. He has played 1 game of it over in the LCL, but it's Doxy that's been mainly taking the Titan of the Depths in their league. But
Talia.
Virtus Pro, it's another Talia lock-in. A few Assassins flash for Paranoia, says, I can do this, but I'm going to play this one out. Nice and safe, get a lot of roams going, and Virtus Pro look like they're heading for a very similar style.
Yeah, and in game 1, we saw Leon play the Echo into the Talia, and it did just fine. Seiya ended up 3-0. Paranoia, a little bit of a struggle to get himself into the fights. A couple of Weaver's Walls did, however, really hit the mark and end up going in their favor. This isn't a flex. This is Gragas going up into the top lane here, securing themselves a good tank matchup for Pride.
All right. So Pride's got that one locked in, and now it goes once again to Isurus for the ban phase. They take away the Lulu, focusing on support, but it is still possible that that is where the Nautilus ends up going. Cassiopeia removed, so it's mid laner that VP want to ban away. Makes a lot of sense with Emp still not taking his choice, and there's a Kennen ban following up.
Yeah, Kennen as well now trying to take away one of the good matchups into Gragas, or at least a bully matchup. Gragas can contend with this. If the Syndra is available, I wouldn't be surprised to see Isurus go towards that Syndra themselves. We just saw Emp play a game on it. Looked decent, but a difficult matchup against the Zillion. Talia, a little bit easier of a match as well. LeBlanc is available. Either one is a possible matchup into Talia.
Really letting it go down to the wire. That's the last second LeBlanc ban by Virtus Pro. So the question is, what is Emp going to dip into? He does have a pretty wide champion pool. He's played, obviously, a lot of the Ryze, played a bit of Jace in the mid lane. Seen a couple options.
No emphasis on AD carries. Both Ashe and Varus, Caitlyn available. We haven't seen the priority on that, but that's a lot because that Ivern has not been picked up. So will it be AD carry here? Will Isurus save their AD carry to try and hold the matchup? They go for a safe AD carry, in air quotes, one that can't really be killed particularly easily. Very mobile in this Ezreal, but certainly out of the meta. Of course, I mentioned Ashe, it was banned away. And speaking of save...
Wow, Blasting got the quick lock-in for the Lucian to try and get a little bit of dueling potential here, but from the land of aggro supports, will we see echoes of Lecrit? Not this game. Maybe.
Maybe.
Stop playing with me, Santos.
You probably don't want to play Blitz into Ezreal. It's one of the only AD carries that can actually get away.
Okay, they go a little safer. They get themselves a tank. It's the Braum lock-in, but this is an old-school bully lane, right?
Yeah.
Get yourself the double tap, build up those stacks, and get the stuns off.
Yeah, get the stuns. You can also deny a lot from the likes of the Graves, from the Gragas. Now mid lane we go. expecting the Syndra. Depends whether they want to play something like a Rise to roam along with it. But that is Emp's most played mid laner. If they do go for that, it would push them later into the game. So I like that they go for a champion that can utilize that teleport, play the Echo into the Taliyah, match the roaming potential.
This is a very mobile composition too, right? Because Echo is not the only one that can close a lot of gaps. You have the Gragas, you have the Graves, the Ezreal, and Karma has a speed boost. This is a composition that when you group them all together, I mean, they could definitely chase people down. The question is who they're going to focus on. I feel like it's going to be the Kazakhs.
To some extent, yeah. I mean, for VP, I wonder whether we'll be going bot lane again. It happened in the first game. I guess it was towards the duo who actually ended up in top side when they made a swap, but with the teleport, with the Weaver's Wall, you've got a Kha'Zix that can move quite quickly into the lane as well. VP maybe looking to get blasting going and end up carrying this game through.
Yeah, potentially be the plan. They focused on trying to get blasting ahead in their last game. However, it was a little bit tough up against Lion Gaming for a little while anyways. And eventually started to get rolling on that Varus. We'll see if the Lucian gets going a little faster. All the same, it's comfort, right? You look at what Doxy's got, his most played champion in the form of the Nautilus. Paranoia's on that Taliyah. This is something that VP are very well schooled in.
And they look good reacting to being behind at the first moments of the game. They made that swap up to the top side. They got themselves into the mix quite effectively, but now Isurus coming off a loss. Can they shake off what was a tough matchup against the Gigabyte Marines now and look to pick up their first win of the tournament?
We'll have to find out. Somebody's got to walk away with a victory. VP, they definitely have to still be smarting from the way that Lion game finished out. However, Virtus Pro definitely looking strong up until the end. Isurus Gaming, they had a lot of fight in them. I feel like if there's one thing that's for certain in this group, there definitely will be blood. Virtus Pro, Isurus Gaming. Who's going to walk away with the victory? We'll find out as we load up onto Summoner's Rift once again. For MSI 2017, this play-in stage has really been delivering.
Yeah, day 2 of the play-in stage, 4 days of the first round here. Double round robin on the groups. And we saw yesterday Group A settled heavily with Supermassive getting the first kind of perfect run through the groups. We'll see whether anybody ends day 2, 3-0. Unfortunately, it won't be either of these teams. They've already both dropped a game. But now it's time for redemption. Build back to maybe a 2-1 end of the day. Both of these teams will be looking for that kind of result now as we head further and further in the games.
Serious looks on the faces of all the players. Don't want to come in, drop a couple of games, especially when you have the potential to turn it right around so close. We've had some of these games already happen, and even with early leads built up, we've had teams come back in. No one's playing the perfect game. Of course, you can't expect it even on this kind of stage. Everybody can make just one little mistake, and they can be punished very harshly.
It's interesting you talk about the perfect game. We've had a lot of European teams on the EU LCS talking about chasing the perfect game. G2, kind of the winners of the European region, spoke a lot about how they ended up stopping chasing the perfect game somewhat. The same happened with Fnatic. They ended up saying, we don't want to play for the perfect game, we'll play our style and do well. And certainly that is what worked well for VP for the majority of the first game, but it was Lion with a backdoor to end it that really shut down VP's hopes in game 1 of the day.
Well, they lost it in the end. The team from LATAM North, can they shut down the South? That's the question. Paranoia, everybody's spotting out, trying to make sure that there aren't any invades happening. But Isurus, they're content to just pull the line of scrimmage. They don't want any early invades happening. A lot of mobility we talked about on the Isurus Gaming side. However, VP aren't lacking for it either, especially when you have a Taliyah in the mid lane.
No lack from that Taliyah. So as we get closer into the laning phase here, you have to look at Lucian Braum up against Ezreal Karma. Lucian Braum very good at taking down a single target if you can get there, stacking up that Winter's Bite, you know, getting the passive, the stun. Ezreal Karma is one of the most difficult lanes to actually kill. Okay, there's not a lot of sustain that comes from the lane after trades, but the shields, the escape, the slow, the tether, everything can end up going into that safe zone for Isurus here in this bottom lane. So Blasting and Xanthus may struggle to get ahead in this laning phase unless they can find the damage coming through in trades. You can see already the threat of Lucian early on is quite palpable. You can get a lot of auto stand. This is Kindless way too far close towards Blasting, way too close.
Yeah, Kindless has had a lot of trouble so far in this tournament with honestly respecting some of the positioning, maybe not just in lane, but across the board on this Ezreal that should cover some of the gaps. But the problem is he keeps getting pushed back, and we're seeing the old school bully lane kind of coming to fruition here with Blasting and Santis trying to zone away, doing a good job of it.
The reason he was closing the gap there was trying to even up the level 2 mark. You can see with one last Mystic shot, he ended up getting level 2, but it had already been VP that was assuming control of this wave. Now we get to see Kindless will have the ability to get away. So shield comes out, allows Kindless to survive through a lot of this damage. So Blasting and Santis will struggle in this lane to at least dominate when it comes to trades. But CS is easy for Lucian to accrue. You can see already a lead. There's a bunch in the wave in front of the Isurus Gaming bot lane. But it's going to take some time for Blasting to open up a good lead.
Yep. However, they are going to be able to get some spots on the map and make sure that they don't get jumped on by QQ more. However, they should have been looking top right now because he's going in for the level 3 gank. Pride taking up some damage. Riptide's there, but there's a belly bop, and flashing Doxy's going to try to get the juke off. In comes Kriok. Does he have the damage? QQ more flashing for first blood. Is he going to give his life? Kriok does not have the final hit. The smoke screen laid down for QQ more. End of the line. Does not go where he wanted, and Kriok gets one. Can he get two? The big barrel. Kriok might die to minions. Oh!
The last minion auto. It was a good player on the smoke screen from QQ more there. Kriox couldn't quite afford to go aggressive at first, but that ends up being a trade in favor of Isurus. So QQ more comes up to the top side. Doxy's already around about half health. Big hit from that barrel to take him lower, but buys enough time, gets a Titan's Wrath through. They think, okay, maybe Kriox is enough here to deny. Flash over. QQ more knows he has to get that first kill, goes back into the smoke grenade. Could have gone down and out, but didn't want Kriox to get away with his life. Knew Pride wasn't enough on his own at that point to get the kill, but Pride proves him wrong, gets the kill anyway. Yep. Minions get the assist.
I think he might have died to the red buff at the end of it all. It was hard to tell what the last tick was, but yeah, that was definitely some inches, and well, it's going to matter with the early game item choices. There's 5 Doran's rings between those two top laners at the minute. Emp's going to teleport back into the mid, and well, the mid lane for once today has been a little quieter.
It has, in this game at least. Last game we'd already had 4 ganks mid by this point.
There's no Nidalee, so that's part of the difference.
Well, no level 6 yet on Pride, so no way of really capitalizing on QQ more being top without a mistake coming through from Doxy. If he pushes up with this wave, it would be the kind of mistake that could cost him, but you can see recalls out, knows he's lost that trade, can sense the fact that Pride... Ooh, he actually thinks Pride came out of the lane for a while. Doesn't anticipate QQ more still being there. Doxy's playing.
Oh, this is the mind game.
So close.
Oh, body slam, flash. He's able to get the dredge line out though. Can he escape the damage? QQ more wants to commit. He can't do it.
Couldn't quite get in there, Pride. If he was level 6, that would have been an easy kill onto Doxy, but Doxy was trying desperately to get as much farm from that wave as he could, but it wasn't to be. Now Kriox is top side to defend against the push.
Yeah, Pride burned his flash on that one. He'll trade it for a little bit of tower damage, and Kriox being preoccupied in the top. In fact, Doxy didn't actually leave just yet, so they're going to be able to push them back together. And we check back in with the bottom. Blasting, still dishing some damage onto Newbie, but Kindless is starting to find his footing as he's found himself a CS advantage as well.
Yeah, has been able to farm up. As we said, they're quite safe in the bottom lane. Will take a while for Blasting to accrue any kind of CS lead. Doesn't help a couple of minions dying under tower. Oh, hang on, QQ more's here.
Oh, close call there, but QQ more stealing that one away. And now they're looking to try and finish off an early tower up top, utilizing QQ more constantly sitting up in this top lane. They shouldn't have enough damage to do it just yet, but they can definitely get some chip on.
Doxy stuck around long enough to get level 6, but it cost him on his recall timing now because his tower is getting pushed. This is one of the things that Graves can do very well, but look, Paranoia wants to come out of the lane. That will force Emp to push out mid lane under the tower. And again, try and deny as much experience here. VP trying to hang with QQ more on Pride up in this top side.
Yep. Definitely racing to try and finish off the top tower. They should be able to get it. Doxy's going to show up just in time, but he still has no flash, and even with level 6, there's not enough damage to follow up on. Isurus Gaming, they're going to be able to knock down first tower of the game.
Yeah, that was one of the easier tower first bloods that we've seen on top side come from top laners trading up there. However, mid lane, Creox wants to come in here. Emp gets a lot of distance out of that ult.
Has to burn his flash, though, to get away from Creox at the end. The leap on top was just enough to force him back. So even though Asurus Gaming have themselves a gold lead, they can't sit pretty just yet. Not with Creox waiting in the wings, who is spotted by Newbie. Tried to steal away the Scuttle Crab. Hard to do against a jungler, but still. And another Infernal Dragon, by the way. We haven't really touched on this one this game, but we've been spoiled today, haven't we, Scratch?
We have.
There have been some serious dragons worth fighting for.
A lot of mountains, a lot of Infernals. Now, looking at this bottom lane, Kindless, he's got a Vamp Scepter. Now, Ezreal does typically build Blade of the Ruined King, but it's a third item. Normally, you'll go the Muramana into Trinity Force, whichever way you end up picking it up, and then get yourself Blade of the Ruined King. This could be a very early Blade for Ezreal. We haven't seen that all that often, but obviously the high propensity of AD carries to build Blade of the Ruined King because of the strength of it. Doesn't synergize the best with the kit out of Kindless because he's not quite so attack speed based, but nevertheless, likely will end up slotting into the build. I'm looking forward to seeing how this damage is changed by an earlier Blade, if he ends up even building it all the way. It might just be a stopgap in between his first items.
True. I mean, he did go for the early longsword, so he didn't have the lifesteal available to him in the early on, but that shield's available from Karma. Just trying to play it out safe, it seems, for the time being. Kind of makes sense after last game. A little bit rough for him. However, Blasting does not want to play it on safe. He dashes his way, Relentless Pursuit for a double tap, but Kindless was there to be able to fire back on top of him with a Mystic Shot and force back.
That's why it might be a stopgap. He may just end up going normal build after it, but wants to be able to take these trades, short trades, heal up, short trade, heal up as much as he can. Blasting has got that build Water Cutlass completed himself, but Creox is looking to get into the bot lane here. There is a ward in the lane brush. The Tribush ward has just been killed, and they know QQ Moore is on the top side of the rift, but that means Paranoia coming back towards mid. Creox isn't coming into the bot lane now either. This is an interesting setup.
Here we go.
To go.
Oh, Santos, he goes forward. He does have 6, but he's not popping the Glacial Fissure just yet. It looks like the dual lane has managed to escape. Blasting was a little bit low. And Asurus Gaming, most of them are hanging around this mid lane, but in the jungle right now, denying anything that Creox would get. But Creox is still preoccupied by the bottom side of the map. Maybe he's just going to go for the Drake. He starts it up.
That was odd. Kindless looked like he took a full channel of the culling in the bot lane. We didn't see it ourselves, but he ended up on like 200 health. Emp wants to go though, mid lane.
Throws the Time Winder, gets a phase dive in, and that's a lot of damage dealt. However, it's all a cover right now, and there goes Santos in onto QQ Moore. Blasting gets the stun off, able to proc it down. Paranoia can't get away. Flash for flash, follow through collateral, forces the heal. Blasting
He's still alive.
Can't get the job done. Meanwhile, Emp keeps Santos busy, and Pride TP's in. This looks like we could be in for another couple of kills. Santos, he's going down. That's a double for Emp, and it's mid-tower time for Asurus.
In what looked like a very controlled setup to start this in favor of VP, now it's all gone crazy.
Doxy's 1v5 right now. He was trying to get the pick off, but it's just not enough damage. Creox comes in a second too late. Doxy's down, and there's still a wave to contend with, but Asurus are low health bars. They do not want to tangle with this Kha'Zix.
No, they do not want to go aggressive here at all. It looked like VP had full control of that exchange. I think Blasting flashed over the wall with no mana. You can see he uses a lot of his mana on that exchange there. And from here, does he even cast an ability from this? Took so much damage off that end of the line. Blasting couldn't quite survive. Kindless came over for the tidy up on the kill. And from there, Asurus have Pride in position. Santos has to at least take a step back to try and avoid the cask. It ended up pinning him against the wall anyway, and VP heavily down now. Compare this to game 1, where they came out of the gate swinging. They took the exchange in the top side, played with the Blitzcrank, got the hooks. Now VP are on the back foot. They have to try and get themselves back into this game.
It's going to be difficult for them, finding themselves down 2,000 gold. They did get the Infernal Dragon. While all the action was being set up, Creox was kind of keeping everyone in the dark by taking it out, but that's a consolation prize when you consider all that happened so far. First tower blood for Asurus Gaming. A lot of damage on the mid turret. A huge fight won by them, and they're looking good right now. After that loss, you had to think maybe, just maybe, that could have gotten in their heads against the Gigabyte Marines, but they have really managed to shake it off, no problem.
You gotta feel like VP having flashbacks to game 1 of the day. They're like, okay, we got the Talia, everything's gonna go well, we'll just try and snowball bot. Echo's got kills, he's controlling any 1v1 scenario. However, this one's a 3v1.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to get out. Let's see. Snap back in towards the tower, but he's going towards the wrong base. Stunned up by the concussive blows, and Doxy gets the final shot. Looked like the Riptide got him. However, there's 2 on mid right now for Paranoia to contend with. Let's see if he can hold him back.
Yeah, this time that tower's about half health. Paranoia should be okay here.
TP
bot lane.
They can't cut anyone off.
TP from Doxy bot lane to hold the tower. However, there are 2 people down there, and you just TP'd in lane with no flash, which means, I mean, he's a tanky Nautilus, I suppose.
He will survive.
Has Tabby, has a Ruby Crystal as well, so he's okay.
Still, let's see. Creox going in onto Kindless. Does he have the damage to finish him off? No more isolation because Newbie's come to the rescue. Meanwhile, though, he did force the flash away. True Shot Barrage, thinning the wave out for Kindless. Paranoia is able to push in a little bit further as well. A couple of threaded volleys. Santa's roaming with Creox right now. Now, that's a pretty scary combo.
It is, and it's mostly based on controlling the jungle, getting deep wards down, as you would expect. But this isn't the most conventional of 1-3-1 setups out of Isurus, in the sense that, like, Gragas will push the Nautilus in, but not quickly. So the Echo will have control of one side, the Gragas will have control of the other, but it's a little slower on the top side. Pride is a lot more effective flanking into fights, and look, this is the second time Emp is getting picked off.
Yep, and it looks like he won't have his ultimate available just yet. Creox gets the final hit, and the style ultimate out of Santas. That Echo having a little harder of a time than the last one VP played against.
And this is very smart of VP. This is exactly what you need to do against a 1-3-1 composition that only has 1 teleport available. Attack the TP. Go in, go aggressive on the Echo. Nobody can be there to help him because they have to defend mid lane at the same time. And that slows down Isurus when you're there looking to set the map up 1-3-1 style.
I want to touch back on what you had to say about Kindless specifically, since he has been hanging around that mid as part of the defense. Instead of it being a stopgap, he did pick up the Blade of the Ruin King very early on as he continues to stack his tier. So we'll see how his damage really is affected by all of that. But for the time being, he's been relatively safe. He's an Ezreal after all, but that's not the focus that VP have had. They're on the top side here. They should be able to get this tower down.
Yeah, this makes it more difficult now. Oh, hang on, Ezreal in the mid lane as well has to be careful.
It's coming. Okay, there we go. That's enough to push him off.
There's a lot of movement on the map out of VP. They were looking for mid, looking for top at the same time, but it's bot lane that Isurus are going. Here comes Talia.
Oh boy, QQ he's getting a little bit low.
Oh, we got the hook.
There's a teleport coming in. He gets knocked in. QQ going down. Can Doxy stay alive? Pride is taking a few more shots at the threaded volley, but in comes Emp right now trying to get the cleanup kill onto Doxy, looking for more. Can Paranoia zone him off? The barrel's still coming in. Flash forward, phase dive, not the right direction. And the hook is gonna miss. That's the chrono break out of Emp. And meanwhile, Paranoia flashing back in. This is one hell of a skirmish down on the bottom side, and Pride's tagging his way out. True Shot splits the uprights between Doxy and Paranoia. Nobody is going down.
That was a very tricky fight, but very well played out of VP as well. Paranoia puts down the minefield to deny the jump out of Emp. Stops him from going aggressive because Emp knew he would end up dying if he went in like that. Kindless, however, and Emp have enough damage to turn it back onto Creox, but there was a lot that happened over the last few seconds, and it inevitably ended up with VP taking the tower in the top side.
This is how a lot of it started. Paranoia wanted to go on a roam down bot, and we see him about to build a Weaver's Wall up. Here it goes.
Keep in mind, Nautilus has already taken half of Graves' health bar off by now. Lands the hook, gets the auto. Minefield 1 is going to deny Echo jumping into the fight immediately. You can see put down the parallel convergence, VP kite back up towards. Now Pride is out of the fight, but Emp can't go aggressive onto Doxy because it will do too much damage to him. And again, they try and hold on to that minefield. Emp is forced to ult his way out of what would have been a successful hook. And suddenly, VP play very well in what was overall a 3 versus 2 situation.
Yeah, Doxy was dancing left and right. It was incredible he didn't go down here. And all said and done, even though there were no kills on the board, the positioning advantage went the way of VP. So they start on Infernal Dragon number 2. Things looking a little bit better for these guys. They can pick it up, and they can. That's 16% AD and AP on top of it all.
Well, QQ died to begin that off, remember, and the top lane tower went in favor of VP, so it was looking very dire for the CIS representatives, but double Infernal. Tower down in the top side now, evening up a lot of that gold lead. We're just about breaking even on this game. This is back to one of these back and forth games that VP are now finding themselves in for the second time today.
Yeah, both of them starting off with VP in a sizable deficit too, but they've shown they've been able to turn it back around. And I mean, that's a lot of credit to the way they've been playing out in the LCL as well. Remember, this is one of the teams that wasn't dominating their region. They were a surprise contender in the finals because they knocked off M19. And they were pretty much like third, fourth place coming into the end of the split. So seeing them adapt within a game, not just within a series.
Yeah, and a lot of people had talked about how perhaps M19, their opponents in the semifinals, had been figured out. A lot of the world's charm that was coming through from the Crit and his brand didn't hang in the regular split when people knew how to play against it. Now, it's interesting to see VP adapt in-game to things that are being thrown at them, whether it's this Echo, this 1-3-1 that they're now looking to attack. It seems like they're better now at playing against it than they were in the first game, because in game one, remember, Seiya wasn't going out to the side lane. This time, they're capitalizing every time Emp comes into a fight or puts himself out alone, and actually turning things back around. So you can see a little bit of that figuring out at work for VP.
Yeah, and they're putting damage exactly where they need it, right? Like, Creox has been a pretty deadly threat here. With the Kha'Zix up and available, he has shown quite a lot of proficiency on it. Maybe he's not gotten the kill 100% of the time, but he gets the zone. And now they're going to be able to finish off another tower. Yes, Pride's coming down, but at least it's down to half health here, and they're holding the line everywhere else.
Yeah, they do go on to Pride for now.
1v3 though. He throws a barrel out, but that does nothing, and even Santis was coming to the party. This is going to be a quick push here.
There's a reaction in mid lane though, but again, they've attacked the TP user that has it available. Look, Emp, his is on cooldown, whereas Pride's is up and available. So go and attack that, take him out, instantly get the tower behind it. Now you continue to push. Paranoia is going to try and hold the mid lane with Creox as well for now, and there aren't too many options for Isras, but Echo is pushing on the top lane too.
And Paranoia, ooh. A few more thought he had the damage, had to turn around on the shotgun blast, but will Creox turn it around? He does. He gets one. Flash for flash. Kindless isolated. Creox sinking in the claws for a double. It's going to trade a few towers on the top and bottom side respectively, but that jungler, 5-1 on the Kha'Zix, that's not too shabby.
QQ more thought he was letting Freedom ring with a shotgun blast right there, but it wasn't quite enough. Emp is going to push in the top side. We are finding ourselves in an Echo base racing situation now on the inhibitor. Nobody really is pushing on the side of VP anywhere that's that productive. Mid tower would be nice, but Emp has got this tower, and two of his teammates are dead. Like, that VP couldn't react in time because Creox is low. Paranoia hadn't respawned yet. Doxy wasn't available either.
That's not the first time we've seen Virtus Pro neglecting their base in a critical moment. 20 minutes now, the base is broken open courtesy of Emp. He's not been able to live through every interaction, but he has certainly been able to get some work done. So now they're going to have to watch that top side of the map for a while. And it's going to get harder and harder. Baron's live on the map as 20 minutes have elapsed.
These have been some very fun games. Tower pushes on inhibitors 20 minutes into the game. Echo split push. But I like what VP have been doing up until that point. Like, really working well around the 1-3-1. That time they let the Echo kind of loose on the map.
That's my kind of analysis. I love what they're doing until they lost their base turret.
Hey, we're in the NALCS studio. It's the home of, up until the point they lost, they were winning the game. Well, GGU saying.
Yeah, then became Team Coast, but that's your man Skara, responsible for that particular one. But back into this game.
We're talking.
It's fine. We're into a lot of action here in Group E, and we've had so many high kill games, and a lot of it is thanks to these crazy picks. The Creox coming in for more, looking for another, but QQ Moore is able to dash over the wall. Exhaust was burned.
Here comes Pride.
Tried to get him. Pride coming around the other side. Let's see if he gets one. He knocks. Blasting into the Baron pit. This was a little bit of pinball, but at the end of the day, it results in Paranoia being isolated from the rest of his team. Can he get out of dodge? No Weaver's Wall up and available. I don't think so. Collapsed on, and Emp's able to get his third kill of the game. Let's see what VP can do from here. They're still sticking with 4 mid.
Doxy finally joins the exchange, but VP, you can see, they're kind of struggling without some of the damage that Creox has been bringing to fights, but Creox got taken very low to start that one off. Paranoia ended up the wrong side of the fight, ends up getting picked off, but Blasting showed himself.
Looking for Kindless, and there's a lot of flashes burned. He's taken down. Santa's even getting the last hit. That's a present for him. Pride now being chased, flashing away from Creox, but he's going to have Hop in just a couple of seconds. Doxy keeping QQ more occupied. Down he goes. Santa's claims another. The scumbag support steal, but give it to him this time, and Cullen gets unloaded onto QQ more in the back here. And everybody's backing away on the side of Isurus Gaming as the minions are charging into inner.
Look, Santos is just trying to do the brand for the team. He says, I might not be Pasha, but check out these biceps as I'm flexing on a double kill for VP in the mid lane. And this is how it all came about. Pride Blasting nearly gave the game away on this one, hiding around the corner, but flash, over onto Kindless and the rest of Isurus. And Creox, he thinks he's got his 6th kill of the game. Santos, as he said, playing the right skin as well.
Yep.
I can't believe it's taken me 23 minutes to notice he's playing the right Braum skin.
But it's 23
minutes. A few months early or late, depending on how you
know. It's okay. They're just trying to play it up for Isurus. You know, wintertime's a little bit different down there in the southern hemisphere. Isurus Gaming, though, they're hoping to turn this one back around. They find themselves in that gold deficit. VP may have a gaping hole in the top side of the map for them, but they're definitely showing that they can fight it out in the 5v5. And Isurus have only been able to get towers up there, by the way. They're still outers standing in the mid and bot.
It's one of those weird games. Like, game 1 ended with Lion getting a backdoor to win the game while mid-outer was still standing. Maybe we'll have the same thing happen. Mid-outer is still standing in this game for now. And VP, they are pushing up in the top lane. Emp tries to go aggressive onto Creox.
Does, isolated for just a second, but he's able to get himself out with Chrono Break. Tower should go down, though, not a whole lot left. But out of a Paranoia, is he going to pay for it? The barrel knocks him back right into Emp here, and the fight is on. Kindless going to get knocked up, but do they have the damage to finish the job? Santa's trying to tank away, but QQ More has him in his sights. It is now currently 1-0, but Isurus going incredibly low here, but somehow they are able to limp away without a single death.
Full channel of the culling basically makes QQ More rethink everything going through the jungle there. QQ More didn't want any more of that. You can see Flash just now available for the Graves, so couldn't really reposition himself that effectively.
VP not backed off right now. They want to keep the pressure going, even though the tower's done. Pride is pushing up, and he's about to find out.
There's a lot of people here.
No sense in back.
But this ain't a parade for him.
Okay, teleport coming in. This is going to be a little late for Emp right now, and he cancels it. Sorry, buddy, you're on your own. 40 seconds still on Pride. VP, they might start thinking about that Baron.
Yeah, VP, I think that's normally where they go to, but they're recalling out low on mana, but that typically isn't what affords a recall. It is going to let Isurus ward. 21 seconds left. I think they probably could have looked for it, maybe not wanting to 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
As QQ More was still around.
You could see that Isurus were definitely thinking that was what was happening. Kindless sending a Mystic shot into the Baron pit, but he gets a ward out and is able to clear away the control. Paranoia is still keeping his mid lane cleared. The waves are pushing in favor of Virtus Pro right now. Things are looking good from the squad from the Commonwealth of Independent States. We'll see if they can keep it going and cruise to their first victory here at MSI.
So we were tracking Kindless damage. Hasn't really shown the same bite that Trinity Force, Muramana, Ezreal kind of does post that 2 items. Like he's still been outputting damage, don't get me wrong, but really the Ruin King, he's been using it to kite a lot more than just you know, output damage. Now he will obviously have more damage. As we were talking about it, the Muramana just transformed, or Manamunated. So now has more damage, just used his ultimate to check through that Baron pit as well. So some of his utility is now a little lower.
Yeah. All the same, even if the damage is not quite to the same level, Ezreal in the late game is still going to be able to shine, and it's a while before we get there. They need to be able to survive. Ward down. Clutch for Emp as Creox was waiting in the wings, but you can see where VP are focusing in and around this Baron pit. They want to make sure it's completely dark for Isurus Gaming.
You can see Creox has got himself a Guardian Angel. Wants to be able to jump around team fights. I wonder whether he's actually put the evolution in Leap. Now, typically, you see Taste Their Fear and then the W. The normal evolution path.
Oh, Emp, he's coming right on in. They found Santis, so they have the damage to finish him off. Glacial Fissure gonna zone away. Emp is gonna have to ult on in, but he didn't go very far, and Santis gets himself number 3. Creox limping away. Paranoia taking out Kindless. Doxy on the front line. Virtus Pro are plowing through Isurus right now. Pride's going down. It's just gonna be Newbie. It's just gonna be QQ more. And you better believe it's just gonna be Barrett.
Yeah, Newbie's even gonna get cut off by Creox here. Newbie thinks he might be okay for now, doesn't realize he's running right into a Kha'Zix.
Oh, this is the horror show right here. Newbie, he's gonna be able to walk it out. Creox has something else in mind.
Yeah.
The Baron's gonna get fired down, and team fighting from Virtus Pro has been impressive.
They recognize the QQ. Oh, Newbie's dead. They realize QQ Moore is still around. Blasting's gone over the back of the wall to try and fend him off, but now QQ Moore.
Oh, he's going in!
He's going in!
Did he get the steal off? No, he can't do it just a second too early, and he donates his life. Isurus Gaming cannot catch a break right now.
That would have been the highlight play. That right there, if it had managed to weave his way past Blasting, blast coned in, and got the steal, but it wasn't to be. So here's how the exchange went. Emp tried to get the double stun, goes right into Santis, gets locked down in place. Chrono breaks back, but demolished again by the massive fireplace. Really didn't leave enough of a present out for Rudolph this year. Pride thought he was tanky enough. Newbie's already fleeing. QQ Moore's out of there as well. VP full health bars for the most part. Only Paranoia was particularly low, and now they have the Baron buff to take down towers.
28 minutes, this is looking grim for Isurus Gaming as the 6th tower will fall on their side of the map. They may have lost all 3 in the top, but Virtus Pro are looking for the base of Isurus. There's a lot of Baron buff to work with here, and they can just siege as 5 members. It's so difficult for Isurus to push back from this squad.
Yeah, consider that like 9 minutes ago, the inhibitor tower was pushed down by Emp. Again, we talked about how VP maybe are adapting to this Echo, this side lane split push Echo with a 1-3-1 setup. Well, Pride hasn't got the same strength that the Camille did in previous games, and that means VP can just constantly force Emp to come with the team. Make sure that he isn't getting in any kind of effect over in the side lane, whereas now Doxy is out there with the Baron buff, and the rest of VP are just dealing damage, little damage. The problem is, top lane still pushing towards VP. Look at the damage coming from
Creox
Creox.
doesn't care that Pride is there. There's a collateral. He's going to have to hop the wall. The ultimate is not going to be there just yet for Pride. Now Santis, Doxy, Blasting, all on this bottom side while the rest of Isurus Gaming were busy. They're going to hook in Kindless. Weaver's Wall cutting him off right now. Full channel of the culling, but Doxy gets the Riptide for the kill. The big barrel knocks him back, but that is a minor setback here as VP are looking for the victory in this game.
Blasting finally gets his first kill of the game. A lot of them have been taken away from him, but finally VP have cracked the base. This is what they were looking for. Recall comes out from Doxy. He's looking to TP back into the base and end this one.
All it's going to take is a couple of Nexus turrets, but Pride and Newbie are going to try to stop this one. There is not a whole lot they can do. He tries to pop away, but hooked right back by Doxy. Paranoia with the kill. Only Newbie left to defend. Emp is back to base, and this is too little. This is too late. This is victory for Virtus Pro.
That was the way they needed to bounce back from game 1. A loss against Lion to start, but they have bounced back against Isurus. They took a deficit early on and managed to fight effectively, attacking the TP at all turns, making sure that they could always have the numbers advantage. This was a lot better out of VP. They well worked their way to victory in this game.
Yeah, can't count these guys out. I mean, you look at just the way that their LCL playoffs went, they had to go to 10 games in the semis and the finals just to make it all happen. Picking off some of the better teams out of that region to get there, and they're trying to carry that flag of CIS's international success here. They get themselves a win on the board, very important. It's rough for Isurus Gaming, but VP, they showed them up at the end.